Unwise.
3, 2, 1.
Give a damn about a hater when I feel like it. Not today, not today, not today, not tomorrow. Get out my way.
Oh boy.
And he used to write up a synopsis after and then submit it to the attorneys and the judges and shit like that. That's what he used to do.
MooLLy is saying Walnut used to be a paralegal of sorts for a judge.
But he picked up some major fucking skills over there. And I was like, I remember before getting divorced.
Wait, what? You remember before getting divorced?
Like, I remember before getting divorced, I was like, fuck, he's in the divorce paper things, he laid out some rules.
He laid out rules for the divorce, and you wonder why, MooLLy, people say you and Walnut aren't married and only have an arrangement until your child is out of high school.
That he didn't want his son to be around any other men. I couldn't introduce my kid to Jake unless they had been dating. I had been dating them for at least 6 months.
Walnut knows you just like we do. He knew you'd move a man and with the quickness, because you can't stand on your own 2 feet.
That I owed him 4 family vacations a year.
Seems like that's what has been happening. You don't go on any family vacations. You're always traveling alone.
Yeah, I was looking at it like this. I was like, that motherfucker. And I knew he was going to track my car. I knew he was going to track my fucking cell phone. And I was like,
wow. And yet you proclaim everyone you despise as shitty marriages. This is why I can confidently say you do a lot of self-projecting. The closer your son gets to graduating high school, you are speaking of your future. It's imminent, and it's inching closer and closer.
I was like, you know what? It had the right ingredients, I guess. He doesn't seem jealous at all. Oh, no! But no. I had dated this guy who was a plastic surgeon.
Oh, is this the plastic surgeon that you got free lipo, a facelift and watermelon jugs from? You know, for your 1980s prom picture you make people pay $9.99 for?
Fucking psycho. And then I started to date a guy who was in the FBI.
No wonder Walnut put stipulations on when a man could meet his son in the divorce decree.
James. And my husband was very intimidated by that one. He was like,
I thought Walnut was Mr. Confidence.
But trust me, James and Jonathan, I would never fucking marry those 2 motherfuckers.
I'm sure James, the FBI agent, and Jonathan, the plastic surgeon, wouldn't marry you. Otherwise, you wouldn't still be with Walnut.
Never. Those kind of men, boy, they like it their way or the fucking highway.
By your description of Walnut, sounds like you have a problem choosing healthy relationships, Life Roach.
Very judgmental, both of them.
But would they track your car and cell phone?
Do you remember that girl, Kim Lowry? She knew the plastic surgeon. She used to live there in California, in that same town. She was like, "You dated John?" Oh my God. And I go, "You know who that is?" She goes, "My friend dated him." She goes, "Does he drive a red Porsche?" And I said,
You were his escort in California, weren't you, Kate?
"Yes."
Thought so.
And she goes, "He's a jerk." And I was like, "Yeah, I know."
He wouldn't turn a hoe into a housewife that YouTubes all day. What an ass.
How long were you separated? A year and a half.
Divorce pending, separated for a year and a half. Interesting. Considering you have women believing they need to be like you and find a man like Walnut. Another clear example that you cannot adult very well, and your life isn't as wonderful as you try to emulate. Your life roaching is comparable to being a snake oil salesman.
Yeah, year and a half. Well, it got as far. Yeah. Yeah. And then they tested us. The state of Nevada tested us. They wanted us to go to a class on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock
A parenting class?
to prepare us for parental something, divorce.
That's called the parenting class.
And I remember laying there, and I was awake, and so was he. And I was turned one way, and he was turned the other.
I doubt this, considering you had a boyfriend, well, 2 boyfriends during this time.
And I knew that if he was like gonna wake me up and say, "Hey, we gotta go," then I knew. So it was like we tested each other.
This probably went the same way the furniture delivery went. You knew what time you had to be up, but chose to sleep through it instead. He probably called and called you, and you didn't answer. Perhaps fearful, knowing you would be on your own. No man to pay for your extravagant, above your means, lifestyle of the not-so-rich, famous and fabulous. One last chance to beg for mercy.
I live with someone. I live with someone who pays me to leave. Okay, that worked for me. Yeah, I got as far as that.
Oh, so Walnut pays you to leave as well.
Yeah.
Thanks for confirming again.
But you want to know something? I would have had primary custody of Jake because I would have fought like hell.
No, you wouldn't have. That's why you slept through parenting class on that Saturday as your last-ditch effort to make a deal with Walnut. Who the fuck are you trying to kid?
And I would have been fine raising him.
You would have moved Princess in to raise him. Walnut did all the child rearing alongside a princess. He got sick of you wanting to be famous, but knew it would never happen, and you wouldn't stop trying and would do anything, even embarrassing shit. You were still trying, and no matter the tactics you've tried, you are still nothing but a wannabe and now tragedy pimp, a snake oil salesman that buys her own subscribers with super chat and Patreon money to appear greater than what you are.
I make enough money to have a decent home and provide a decent life, pay for my own car. Oh my God, I only owe like $19,000 on my car.
On the Range Rover? Well, you sure are making money fooling people and pimping out people's tragedies. Now, aren't you? But that won't last forever.
he was up by Seattle, and I was he was a, what the hell was he? He was an engineer. This is before he was a banker.
Walnut has been in the military, was a JAG agent, a paralegal, and a banker. What about real estate agent in California? Are we just going to skip that accomplishment? No wonder why you lie about all these supposed accomplishments of Walnut.
No, that's what happened, is he moved for his job, and he was only coming home like once or twice a month.
And you couldn't keep your legs closed.
That's what happened. And I was getting bigger and bigger into my Xanax problem.
So who is a junkie?
That's what happened. And I was obsessed with working out.
I seriously doubt this.
It was weird. It's all right. We're good. We're good. We're good. You gotta have those bumps. No marriage is perfect.
You don't have a marriage. You have an arrangement. The end is near.
Go on. I don't care how beautiful, how rich you were before or after you guys did that show. Which one? It happens, but you guys are good now. I'm glad. You know what? I mean,
If you were good, you would answer yes immediately. You wouldn't have to stop and think of a plausible story of how to spend this so that you can attempt to try and make your quote-unquote haters be wrong, that you're factually in an agreed marriage until your son graduates high school.
I'm glad it happened in a way because it was able to test the waters.
You mean you were able to test the waters and find out there's no man that would marry you and take care of you, so you found a way to come to an agreement with Walnut. I love these late-night deleted live archives. You really tell on yourself.
Like, it's kind of like being on a surfboard, you know, after wife swap.
I can't imagine why Walnut would leave you after that show. You were a national embarrassment. Now you're a worldwide embarrassment. Ha 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 ha.
Like, someone yesterday was like, Marissa, how old is that picture? Is that 10 years old? 10 years old? I said, this picture? 10 years old? I go, I didn't look anything like this 10 years ago. Nothing like this. I was a chunker.
Yes, until after the wife swap show. And then you met Jonathan, the plastic surgeon that you became an escort for. Isn't that right?
You know what? You're good on your own, but you chose to be good. Care of myself before he came around. We kidding.
You carried yourself to the nightclubs and then dragged your ass into work at a department store cosmetics counter the next morning, on weekends, nights, and even holidays, too. You couldn't imagine having to adult and actually work a real job. Walnut is your safety net, but the net is fraying, and soon it will be time to find a replacement, or grift using other people's tragedies to survive.
No way. I can't imagine. Listen, it happens. Divorces happen all the time.
Divorce. I thought it was a separation. Walnut agreed to allow you to live with him and your son until your son graduates high school. You just slipped there and told the truth. For once, divorces happen all the time.
Wife swap. Oh my God. When is this 10 years going to be up?
Didn't you say your son was 8 during the filming of Wife Swap? 10 plus 8 equals 18, the age of most high school graduates. Interesting.
I want to check on Angela, the other lady. She wasn't doing so well when I was with Princess and we called her. Shalom!
What an awkward change of subject. But you knew you just gave it away that from the time Wife Swap released, you were divorced and had 10 years until you have to be on your own. We can't even call you a desperate housewife. You're not married. You're just a miserable, desperate, begging tragedy pimp that projects her own life and future onto others out of pure jealousy. The things you quote-unquote have are all illusions to appear successful and fool people into thinking you're accomplished. Therefore, can help them be successful, literally lying to others, using them, like you do Walnut, to live beyond your means because you have no education, life skills, or work ethics that would make you a productive member of society.
Balance. Surfboard.
Balancing waves, trying to stay on top, is exhausting. Eventually, that big wave comes along and wipes you the fuck out.
I gotta pee. Oh my god, it's almost 3 a.m.
She says she's broke tonight and steals my wallet. She's always doing things like that. She said it's all my fault, handing me her citation. And she only steals when she's straining. And she streams, and her voice is raging, and she says, Walnut, it's 2 a.m. and I'm so lonely. She says, Walnut, I can't help it at all. Sometimes, and stelching's gonna help. I believe it.